So my breathing's not annoying naman, diba? Kasi I find my breathing annoying. I hear it. Fuck. Sorry. All right. Thank you for waiting for me to pee. And okay, so I want to begin this. Give me 15 seconds to get used to this. All right, I want to begin making the distinction between two types of knowledge: a priori knowledge and a posteriori knowledge. Does anyone here know the difference between the two? Before and after? Anyone else? That's very good. Okay. So, I hate this. I really hate this breathing. Hello, hello. Okay. A priori knowledge. A priori refers to the type of knowledge that we gain prior to making any observations. The types of things we can know before we need to observe the world, before we need to know anything about the outside world. So it's literally the type of knowledge that you can have just sitting in a chair and thinking about it. Okay? You don't need to do any research. You don't need to conduct any experiments. You don't need to make any observations. This is a type of thing you can know just by reason alone, pure reason. Can anyone think of any type of a priori knowledge? Okay, here's an example. All bachelors are unmarried. Okay? This is a type of knowledge that we can have without needing to meet every single bachelor in the world, right? You don't have to go, are you a bachelor? Are you a bachelor? Are you a bachelor? Are you a bachelor? Then give out surveys, check single or married, right? Walang binatang may asawa, right? So by virtue of what we mean by the word married and by virtue of what we mean by the word bachelor, there could never, ever, ever be a married bachelor, right? Okay, so that's a priori knowledge. All triangles have three sides. Another example of a priori knowledge, right? You don't have to look at every single triangle. You don't say, 1, 2, 3, this triangle, 1, 2, 3. No, you know that every single triangle has three sides. Based on what we mean by the word triangle, there could never be a four-sided triangle, right? Another type of a priori knowledge is okay, that's an attempt at a triangle, but it's four-sided, but it's not, diba? By virtue of what we mean by the word triangle. 2 plus 2 equals 4, another type of a priori knowledge, based on what we mean by 2 and plus and equals, and 5, we could never ever have 2 plus 2 equal 5. Okay, good, so that's a priori knowledge. A posteriori knowledge is a type of knowledge that we need to make observations in order to know, okay? Something that we need to conduct experiments on, or if we need to use any of our 5 senses, if it's the type of knowledge that you have to learn by reading about it or in a classroom, that's a posteriori knowledge. For instance, our knowledge that the sky is blue, right? A posteriori knowledge, you have to go out into the world to learn that. The mass of Mars is 6.4171 times 10 to the 23rd kilograms. You have to make some sort of observation in order to find that out. The Prime Minister of Canada is Justin Trudeau. You can't just contemplate the meaning of the name Justin Trudeau and be like, that's the Prime Minister of Canada without, you have to make observations. Gets, right? We're getting it. Okay. So, a priori from the Latin from before, as in the knowledge we gain before observation, prior to observation, and a posteriori from the Latin from after, as in the knowledge we gain after observation, right? Okay. So in 2012, I was a grad student in Rochester, New York, and And there was this anxiety about how reliant we had become on the internet in our moment-to-moment lives. Whenever we have, because at this time, smartphones were like becoming a thing. It had been in the market for a few years, and whenever you had doubts about something, whenever you had a question about something, you could just pull out your phone, Google it, right? This was a relatively new thing. And with this technology came the anxiety that, if we're this reliant on the internet, on technology, to help us discern fact from fiction, someone could very easily take advantage of this. It would be so easy for someone with evil intentions to manipulate people, right? And just put out fake news. Am I that boring? This guy fell asleep already. Okay, I'll try to be more entertaining. Okay. All right. I'm sorry. Okay. All right. So what we did for our project was our idea was to take something that was a priori false, something that you could disprove just by reason alone, like a square with 5 sides, or a triangle with 8 sides, or a fact like 2 + 3 = 8, something that you could disprove by reason alone, and then claim that it was true, and then build a wealth of online information around it, claiming that it was true, and kind of like almost like a social experiment to see whether people would believe it, and if, to kind of highlight a glaring weakness in our society about how we discern fact from fiction. And to challenge people to think was really the idea. So there's this SNL sketch. Does anyone here watch SNL? Yeah. So there was this news reporter, and he's talking directly to the camera, and it's deadpan. He says, scientists and mathematicians announced today that they've discovered a new number. The number exists between 5 and 6, and they're calling it the number spleen. So it's so absurd. It's not even logically possible. So our idea was to take something logically absurd and make a film about it, execute it very, very realistically, just because of this anxiety we were having at the time. So I'll show you the film. Anything I should say? Okay, so what we did was we tried to execute it super realistically. These guys are not amateurs, even though it's gonna look that way. We tried to make it seem amateurish. We tried to make it seem like a very super low budget production with people who weren't used to being in front of the camera and having them stumble over words, but in fact they're professional actors. The lenses on our cameras have scratches, have dust, which is no in film school. So the idea was to make it super amateurish, that these people could never pull off something as sophisticated as what we were gonna pull off. So I'll just show you the film. Okay, so we posted that with pretending that it was just one episode in this science show called Can You Imagine? We even put like episode 3, but really this is all we shot. And to give you an idea of like the preparation, what we did in order to prepare for that. Can we turn off lang? Is it okay if we turn off? Sorry, thanks. Like we wrote a script for it. Every word that's there is written. We storyboarded the whole, you can't really see it here, but we storyboarded the entire show. We did floor plans, camera movements and stuff, the set design, the camera, like everything. Oh, we rehearsed with the actors for like 3 weeks because they're like theater people, so they're used to rehearsing for a long time. Here's some of the behind the scenes stuff. That's the crew. Okay. So when people see this, when people saw this for the first time, one of the things they do is like look up, is this real? So they Google it, right? Like we were talking about, Google it. And one of the things they find is these various websites about the Ascherian stairwell. claiming that it's true. And there's information they can find about the artist, the quiet genius, Rafael Nelson Aboganda, and all sorts. You can friend him in Facebook if you want. You can find him like right now and friend him. I don't know if he'll friend you back, but you can friend him. Okay, and one of the other things that we did, and we're actually still working on this, but we posted a clip from a 1997 documentary with academics talking about the stairwell. We're working on this right now because it's a longer project, a longer film. I'll show you what we posted, just a very short clip. So what we did is we explained this project to a bunch of real academics, like some famous physicists, just emailed them randomly and showed them the video that we were doing. And some of them were like, yeah, that's pretty cool. So what we wanted to do was film real academics, real famous physicists, and interview them as though this thing was real and ask them, how is this thing working, right? So a lot of these people that you're gonna see in here, the name comes up and you can Google them. Like if people watch this documentary on YouTube, they're gonna see the names of the people, they're gonna Google them, they're gonna find out they're real academics, blah, 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 etc. I'll show you a clip right now of that documentary. So, sorry for the sound, it's supposed to sound better, but so what am I, okay, yeah. So when we posted this, thousands of people, we didn't expect this to happen, but thousands of people actually went to Rochester looking for it, which was really kind of freaky. But the idea was, which is a little problematic, diba? Kasi the very concept, the very foundation of this project was to do a project about something that could be disproven, not by searching for evidence, not by doing research, but by thinking alone. A priori, you can disprove it. Yet, you know, people actually came from Canada, crossed borders to go there, traveled, you know, I don't know how far, like 5-6 hours just to see it. I remember this because I used to work on campus, and I'd always see like tourists looking for it. Where's the stairwell? Where's the stairwell? And then I'd have to explain to them, no, that's actually my project. That's not, you know, it's not really real because we did a special effect and this and that. So it was my thesis actually. So, and they'd be like, oh, okay. So where is it? Where, you know, they still didn't get it. And there was this time when thousands of people were coming, groups and groups of people. And in order to deal with this flood of people coming, we had to send them home happy because there wasn't a stairwell to see. So what we do is we give them postcards and T-shirts so they could just go home to their families and say they went there, and they became part of building that myth. So these were some of the postcards that we gave them, like photos of the great architect, Rafael Nelson Aboganda. Here are some postcards. And then we'd take them, because there were so many, like really, really, really long lines of people. We had to take them by groups of 50 or 60, and we'd take them to the basement, like down the stairs. We'll pretend that we're taking them to the stairwell. Then we brought them to our home, and I had to like tell them there was no Santa Claus, basically, diba? And like, if you want to see a room of people who are ready to kill me, this is it. That's a room of people ready to kill me. That's me in orange. And that's people finding out there's no Santa Claus. Look at their faces, diba? They just wanna murder me. Okay. Now, one of the criticisms of the project that this has been going on since the very beginning. They've been saying that there are so many hoaxes out there. There's a plethora of hoaxes out there. Yours is just adding to the pool of hoaxes. What we need to do, and what they say we need to do, and it's a very admirable goal, is we need to go to every hoax and point it out and take it down until, I'm not sure until what, until they're all gone and everyone doesn't believe them anymore. I mean, every time you point out a hoax and take it down, 10 more spring up. It's like an epidemic, diba? So what this project tries to address is not like killing one cockroach at a time, but tries to get to the core, tries to get to the root of the epidemic, which seems to be the lack of critical thinking in us as individuals and in the society that we have shaped together. So that's, you know, especially the sociologist Randy David calls it the society we've shaped together, the society in which we want easy answers, quick solutions to problems. He calls it a brutal anti-intellectualism. And it's, and a society that is not thinking becomes a society of fear, a society that's easy to intimidate, a society that's easy to sway. You want easy solutions, easy answers without thinking about it, without contemplating it? Okay, you know the answer to the drug problem? Just kill them, right? You know why you don't have a job? Because of immigrants. It makes it easy. And so that's kind of the root of this kind of the problems that we were thinking about. Way back then, in 2012, it was just an anxiety back then. By 2016, those anxieties turned out to be well-founded. Elections were influenced by an army of trolls and people. Look, if a grad student with no resource and no connections can reach 50 million people and have thousands of people go to this thing, which is just a ridiculous thing to believe in, what more can governments do and institutions with much more money and much more influence, right? So it's just a very, I don't know, it started from an anxiety and now it's just worsened with time. So that's the project. Thank you.
Thank you so much.